director for today. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation. I just wanted to let you know that in our program, we said we'll be starting at 9. So yeah, we just like to apologize. We're waiting for the minister to come, and he indicated that he'll be here in the next 10 minutes. So yeah, sit back, relax until we start officially with our program. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back again. Can we please take our seats? For the sake of time, we're going to be starting with our program, and welcome again on this auspicious milestone event for the Department of Justice. Can we all stand up so that we can sing the national anthem? Thank you. We may all be seated. Without much further ado, let me welcome our Director General, Advocate Dr. Mashabane, to the stand. Thank you.
Program Director, thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of you to this event, the launch of the Deceased States Online. Appreciate all of you for making time in your busy schedule to join us this morning. I think your presence here really is a clear demonstration of how important this part of the work that we as a Department of Justice and Constitutional Development do through the Office of the Master of the High Court. And really, indeed, I think today is a symbolic representation of a long journey that we have undertaken to work with all the stakeholders in the different areas of our responsibility and mandate as a department. And I think today, for all of us and all of the people of this country, will be a major milestone in demonstrating what we, in concrete terms, can achieve working together as government, civil society, and private sector. I think clearly, over the past 30 years of our constitutional democracy, if there's one thing that we can all of us agree we have learned, is that the project to build our nascent democracy cannot be an exclusive responsibility of the state or government, but it's a joint effort of all of us. So that it is littered with many examples of how different parts of the state and different entities of government have collaborated with private sector, civil society to achieve common goals. We know that many of you, particularly in the public sector and in the industry, have been for years been raising this matter with us as government, say we should work together. And the journey has finally begun, and we can only build on it. We can only improve on it. So today really, it's not an end, but it's a beginning of a journey towards a collaboration between all of us as South Africans, with interest of the people and the citizens of this country at heart. I think from here, we can only move forward. So really, we want to thank all of you, colleagues from government who are here, the different areas of government. The reality is that even in government on our own, we battle and struggle to collaborate. My counterpart or my brother from Home Affairs, the Director General of Home Affairs, would have loved to be here with us. Just to give you one area of an example of how we are battling ourselves, just to integrate between us and other government departments. So sometimes when private sector and civil society, you call out of frustration that we should collaborate and work together. It's not for lack of willingness or desire, but sometimes, of course, we have to deal with the challenges of bureaucracy. But we can only defeat the challenges of bureaucracy together. So we are happy that we are here and we welcome all of you. And we hope that this launch will go a long way in inspiring all of us to want to take further, the program of collaboration between ourselves, private sector, and civil society. Without further delays, I would want to recognize some of the stakeholders. I will not be exhaustive, but all of you here, you are recognized, and we have the list. We know who is here, but there are few that, for protocol purposes, I should assist the speakers that will come after me here. I wouldn't want to hear them saying protocol is observed, because when you say protocol is observed, you are breaking protocol. So, and I don't know, it has become so. The other time I was in the US, I heard the Americans say, as our colleagues in Africa say, protocol observed. And really, I didn't like it. So whenever I have an opportunity, I try to clarify that we must never say protocol observed. But I don't want you to repeat the names of the people that are here. So I'll do you a favor, mention those that were supposed to be recognized by protocol, except for the minister and the deputy minister, they can mention their names, but you will say you recognize everyone as has already been recognized by the DG when he welcomed us, and also as further recognized by the minister or someone else. We have the chairperson of the funds, the COO of the compensation funds, the acting COO, Dr. Wells Portes. We also have the representative of SIBA, Ilana Diacher. We also have the COO of FNB Fiduciary, Rose Lamini. We have the National Chairperson of FISA, Nell Iben. We have the Chairperson of the Legal Practice Council, Gauteng, representing the Legal Practice Council General, Ulain Kietse. We have the Chief Registrar of Deeds, Khalis Nusen. We have the Managing Director of BASA, Bongi Kunene. We have the Chairperson of Gauteng Black Lawyers Association, Fio Mapeto. We also have the President of LSSA, Law Society of South Africa, Eunice Masipa, and a member of NADEL Executive Committee. We have the representative of SARS, and Chabeni Matele. We have the president of South African Women Lawyers Association, Sis Nomaswazi Shabangu Ndawe. We have the chairperson of Saula for Gauteng, Matseho Ramakaga. We also have the CEO of FNB Fiduciary, Anissa Razek. We then have the CEO of FISA, Louis van Vieren. So these are the stakeholders from the private sector and the industry that's here, and many of you who's due to the list being long that I have not mentioned, but you are here. So all of us here, we are VIPs. That's what I was advised, that there's no VIP section. All of us are VIPs. So ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you and I thank you for making the time to join us. And we hope that this day will be a success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, DG. Thank you, DG, for your welcoming note. See, we had to adjust the mic accordingly. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, because of this disease estates online system, we are planning to integrate with different stakeholders so that we can actually render efficient services to members of our public. And for this coming session, I would like to welcome, there'll be actually 5 speakers who will be coming to the fore to give words of support for this project. And I'm going to start with Ms. Anissa Rizak, CEO from Fiduciary Institute, CEO of FNB Fiduciary. Thank you.
Good morning. The Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, Deputy Minister of Justice, Constitutional Development, the Director General of Justice and Constitutional Development, Acting Chief Master, senior officials in the department and distinguished guests, Advocate Kanyani Matibe, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really honored to be here and share our journey with the Department of Justice and the Master's Office over the last few months. We are incredibly proud of the private-public collaboration that we have managed to build with the Department of Justice and the Master's Office. The journey began with discussions with Advocate Martin Mafujane, the Chief Master, back in May 2022. At the heart of these discussions were the challenges that we faced with the processes, but of course, as we see challenges are opportunities. To our pleasant surprise, we discovered that the Master's Office shared our vision for the digitization and modernization of processes. When the Master's Office sought our assistance in facilitating the pilot of the deceased estates online registration system, we readily extended our support. We did so because at FNB, we are deeply committed to forging a future of shared prosperity by enriching the lives of our customers, our employees, and essentially the communities that we serve. Thus, in partnership with Advocate Matibe, Chief Director of Strategy and Policy, and her programs, these sessions took place at the FNB campuses in Johannesburg in March this year, Durban in April this year, and Cape Town in July. We are pleased to know that all 3 pilots saw significant participation from BASA, FISA members, allowing us as an industry to rigorously test this new system. One of the notable highlights of these pilots was the opportunity afforded to industry representatives to provide valuable input and suggestions for system enhancements. We commend the openness and responsiveness of the Master's Office and the ICT teams in implementing these enhancements. We are also proud of the fact that FNB Fiduciary was the first institute to receive a QR-coded letter of executorship via this new system. And I can see Karyali laughing because, wow, did that room just erupt in an applause when it happened. Relief, elated, all the feelings that we are coming back to me right now. As we eagerly anticipate the nationwide rollout of this new system across all master's offices, we believe that it will empower us to assist more families as they navigate the challenging process of losing a loved one. Additionally, the enhanced security on the letters will enable us to securely authenticate professional executors and reduce fraud as a result. In conclusion, our collaboration with the Department of Justice and Master's Office exemplifies our unwavering commitment to progress, innovation, and service excellence. Together, we are ushering in a new era of efficiency, accessibility, and reimagining health in a state administration ultimately benefiting the people of South Africa. Thank you for your attention, and here's to a future filled with shared prosperity and enhanced support for our communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rizak, for your words of support. Indeed, the future looks bright and exciting. Our next speaker will be Mr. Bidnell, representing Saika and Siba. Thank you.
The death in the family is the start of an emotional time for family members and friends. Death comes with a lot of stress. It is not only having bank accounts closed that the surviving spouse doesn't have the money to live on. It also has final stress of winding up the estate. I always say when I sit in my first consultation that there's nothing like a death in the family to start a good family fight. And part of what it is was caused by the old system that we had of registering estates. So thank you very much for inviting me. I'm not going to acknowledge all that. I don't want to talk too long. We really are pleased that we're involved in this process and can contribute to it. We heard about the project, the pilot projects, and volunteered to test some of that. It took a while. So we are pleased that we now finally launched the system, albeit in a couple of venues only, for master's offices, and hope that this will really expand to include the other offices at a fast time. So who are we? I'm a CASA. I represent, as you said, SAICA. We are often appointed, our members, regularly as executors and agents of executors to assist with the winding up of the estate. And it all starts with this registration of the estates. And I want to say why we are pleased that we've now embarked on this electronic process. The main problem that we've experienced up until yesterday, I had a member saying to me that it took them 2.5 years to get the letters of appointment. So our biggest frustration as executors, for people responsible for winding up the estate, was to report that estate, to get that letters of executorship. And as you said, that QR code was a wonderful existence. That a person can now go into the office in Pretoria, sit there, report the estate, and walk out with the executor letter of executorship. So we're really pleased that we are going on that process. I want to give you some statistics. So I spoke about one that said to me yesterday, it took 2.5 years to get the letter of executorship. Now, COVID had a couple of influences on this, but we have research done by one of our members that he tracks the date of death and the reporting of the L&D account at the master's office, the line for an inspection there. And he's seen an increase over the last couple of years from where it started at an average of 2 years to wind up in a state. And this is increasingly going up. And we believe that that is caused in the main by what we are having today, the reporting of the estate and getting that letters of executorship. So now the problem that you have is that you cannot start with the estate. You can't go to the bank and get the money available for the surviving spouse. You have no authority to speak. So if this process is delayed, that financial stress, that family fight is just increased. And that is why we support and want to be part of this project so that we can speed up this process. And we now have reports where this process, as I say, happens in a very short time. I want to give my view of what the next steps is, or our view, because I hope that this is just the first step in the process. So ideally, one would want Home Affairs, when they issue the death notice and issue the death certificate, to do that electronically. That comes to the master's office, comes to SARS. We are currently under severe pressure where SARS does not want us to register and take over the tax affairs of the deceased because we haven't got the letter of executorship, and rightly so. Then the next process is that we must then bring in the last will and testament, get our letters of appointment, and that, I hope, we can now also electronically upload those documents so that we can start that process of getting the letter of executorship. And from there, of course, doing the winding up process. And what we see on your website, Chief Master, already there, and the Justice website, that it can be tracked. I think that's the biggest thing, that you can tell family members, look, it's already reported. There's a number, and you'll see the progress there. So for that, as I've said, I thank you. Thank you that we're involved in this. And please keep on involving us in this process that you've embarked on. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nell. Indeed, it's a journey for all of us, which we are undertaking to take. I mean, the fourth industrial revolution is here, so we need to cap, we know that there is a lot of fraudulent letters of appointments that even the master's office don't know of. So with the system, with the QR code being implemented, will surely go a long way. So with that said, can I invite Mr. Louis van Vieren to the stage, the CEO from FISA, Fiduciary Institute of South Africa. Thank you.
I think I'm slightly taller than the acting chief master. Program Director, Honorable Minister, Director General. I think Pete spoke about the turmoil that families experience with the death of a loved one. I think the process of deceased estate administration is the normalization of that turmoil and getting the family on even keel again as soon as possible from a material perspective. Obviously, that then influences the emotional side of dealing with the loss of a loved one. But the last thing we can afford is for the material normalization of the family's life to be delayed. There's another angle to this, and that is that the sooner a deceased estate can be finalized, the sooner we unlock the assets of the deceased and return them to the active economy, instead of lying in a deceased estate bank account, or worse, in the deceased's bank account, because we don't have letters of executorship yet to talk to the bank. And I fully understand the bank's position. I worked in the criminal justice system in my first life, and I specialized on commercial crime, so I fully understand the fraud risks, and I don't blame the banks for their stance on this. What we've seen so far from this system is immensely positive. I've personally seen a demonstration, and the feedback I'm getting at first was mixed, but as time progressed and as the pilots rolled out, the message became overwhelmingly positive about this system and its potential of shortening that crucial period that Pete spoke about in the death and the receipt of letters of executorship by the executor. This is an extremely good start. And I think before I go to the progression, a very quick word about FISA. FISA's aim is to professionalize the industry, the fiduciary industry, including estate planning, drafting of wills, appropriate wills for clients, the deceased estate administration, the setting up and administration of trusts. We have about 850 members countrywide, and some of PIT's members are also members of FISA. Some of the members of the attorneys associations are also members of FISA, and our goal is to increase and spread knowledge of this industry, technical knowledge in the industry, and hold people to a code of ethics, hold our members to a code of ethics. So, as I said, I think this is an extremely good start. Now it's up to an acronym which I came across a couple of years ago. It's FLAP, F-L-A-P, and we look forward to the progression and FLAP then, finish like a pro. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Van Vuren. You know, I always say that, yeah, with the Master's Office, each family in South Africa actually at one point of their lives, they will have to engage with our office. So with this project, you know, we are hoping that we'll make lives of members of the public to be better out there. So let me welcome Mepuleng Kietse, the chairperson of the Legal Practice Council for Gauteng.
Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, Mr. Ronald Lamola, in absentia. Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Director General of Justice and Constitutional Development, Office of the Master of the High Court, leaders of various organizations within the legal profession, colleagues from the Legal Practice Council. Special greetings to my CEO, Ms. Nzuza. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Honorable colleagues and guests, the Master of the High Court South Africa receives several manual requests from legal practitioners, from members of the public and fiduciary on a daily basis. The office has faced numerous challenges and has received various complaints about the delay issue of the appointment letters. The current system and the processes utilized by the department impacted negatively on the service delivery. The work around the deceased estate is one of the seminal moments of our clients and their respective families. The legal practitioners are exposed to fights that often occur in families around the management of the deceased estate. And we as practitioners are often found adding pain into these situations when we are not able to provide speedy assistance in overseeing activities of the estates. This development of the online system is good news for all of us. As a stakeholder in the system, we are pleased that the role players have looked at how things have been done and came up with a solid plan that will bring exciting developments in the management of the deceased estates. As the regulator of the profession, we are pleased about the efficiencies that the online system will bring. Speaking for many, the days of standing in the long queues seems to be gone. Solving challenges of the management of the deceased estates online, sitting on lines for long, those days are gone. The introduction of the online system will enhance access to justice and the efficiency of service delivery. The profession is looking forward to the online system and for the many benefits that comes with it, especially the efficient management of document delivery, the safer storage of documents online, the benefit of saving time, no more standing in the long queues, speeding up of the registration processes. The legal practitioners, members of the public and fiduciary benefits will now be able to receive the status updates of their application via SMSs, through emails, depending on their chosen mode of communication. The Master's Office has developed a format of appointment letters that carry a quick response linked to their system, utilized to verify and validate the authenticity of the appointment letters issued. Most importantly, we as the regulator are pleased that this system will reduce fraud and the risk of fake documents presented. With the coming into the fourth industrial revolution, we trust and believe that the online system will advance the interests of the legal profession. We, however, implore upon the Master of the High Court and the government to create panels of the deceased estates. On behalf of the LPC and the Gauteng Provincial Council, I would like to convey a message of thanks to the Minister, to the Master of the High Court, and to all the role players behind this major milestone of launching the deceased estate online. I congratulate everyone concerned for answering this call. This is certainly going to inspire and encourage all the role players to continue looking at their processes and seeing how more innovations and efficiencies can be introduced for the benefit of the public and all the stakeholders. This innovation will empower South Africans to interact with the Master's Office conveniently, cost-effectively, and a lot more faster. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kieta. Yes, we've been in the news as the Master's Office for our long queues and everything. And with the system, we are hoping, that I will reduce that, because the system has a capability of an online booking system to liaise with the Master's officials. Can I please call on Ms. Bongi Kunene, the Managing Director of the Banking Association for South Africa, BASA.
Good morning. I am thankful to the DG he has gone ahead. I will follow his instructions and consider everyone has been greeted and welcomed. So why is the Banking Association excited about today? All member banks that operate in South Africa have a responsibility to their clients, and that responsibility is safeguarding the deposits of each and every client and investing client funds properly, and when called to account on those accounts, each bank is supposed to be able to say that this is your money, this is what is happening with your money. When death comes, it is an emotional time for each of the families involved, and our engagement with the Master's Office ensures that the funds of a client go to the right beneficiary or go to the correct nominated stakeholder who is supposed to hold those funds. And it's been a journey for us, that how do you hold on to funds of someone who is deceased indefinitely if there has been no resolution on what is supposed to happen. And of course, starting in 2019, we put together an estate-led subcommittee with the purpose of meeting with the Master's Office and collaboratively solutioning for practical challenges that we were both experiencing. It's not just a challenge for the banks, but it's a challenge for the society. And the collaboration proved quite essential when we were shaken as an economy by COVID-19 in 2020. The Master's Office had to mobilize very quickly to service the country during a difficult time of increased mortality rates and limited access to staff and buildings. Where we came in as banks, we assisted the Master's Office by providing comments to and implementing the protocols which were issued out by the Chief Master according to the various levels of lockdown that were being imposed. So we are over that period of COVID-19. What we have learned since then is that the established ways of work have changed, and the whole process of reimagining what can be done in terms of innovating and coming to more efficiencies on dealing with estates in this case is that we've learned that an electronic medium greater enables all of us in this kind of transaction. Therefore, we are delighted to say that in spite of suffering some setbacks in time that we've been working together, the Master's Office and the industry at large has now finally managed to clear the backlogs of the increased volume which were created through COVID-19. And on our part, the practical involvement has got its benefits for BASA. My colleague from FNB has spoken on the journey that was taken together on the pilots. So I would just say, what does digitization mean to the Banking Association and its members? Obviously, it means a very quick turnaround time, a simple and user-friendly interface. It moves us away from physical documents, and it ensures that funds will reach families in a much shorter time. So for the banks, the significance of this is that the appointment of a verified person, if you are verified and you present your documents, we will be able to work with you. And We've now expanded the data fields of what we've been asking and getting from clients who are interfacing with banks on masters issues. So the banks are the final checkpoint before access is granted to bank accounts and funds. And for this reason, it's been very important to us to make sure that there is no space for fraud. Good morning, Minister. And all the necessary steps that have been taken to prevent fraud and work together with the industry are so entrenched now in all the banking anti-fraud departments and at an industry level for the Banking Association. We are proud to say that our commitment to the Master's Office first comes with continued support and, of course, making sure that we will constantly upgrade the digitalization journey as new innovations come to market. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Kunene. Good morning, Minister. Indeed, COVID has taught us a lot of things from the master's point of view. And during that period, we were faced with a lot of fraudulent matters whereby, documents would be submitted to us. So the issue of verification of the correct beneficiaries who are entitled to is of paramount importance. Hence, with this project, again, we are saying that at least we will be curbing those kind of fraud issues. The last speaker is from Legal Aid South Africa to give the word of support, Ms. Tshotleho Mokamedi. Welcome. Oh, sorry, it's a miss.
Program director, I got the brief very well. That I can mention the following: Honorable Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, Ronald Lamola, and Deputy Minister John Jeffrey, and all stakeholders, as recognized earlier on by Director General Advocate. And that's how I got the brief. Good morning. As Legal Aid South Africa, we are honored to be part of this special occasion of the launch of the deceased estate online registration system. Before I tell you my name, please take note that I'm actually representing the CEO of Legal Aid South Africa today. And please, as I walk out of this place, refer me to such as the CEO of Legal Aid South Africa. My name is Tshotleho Mokamedi. I'm the CEO. I'm the provincial executive for the Free State Northwest for Legal Aid. And on behalf of the organization, the many clients we serve and those that will serve in the future will undoubtedly benefit from the deceased estate online registration system. Allow me today to add the message to the chorus of support offered today by our stakeholders. Legal Aid South Africa entered into a memorandum of understanding with the Office of the Chief Master in 2010. The aim was to provide legal representation to minor beneficiaries to ensure that their claims for inheritance and maintenance against deceased estates are enforced. This came about after concerns were seriously raised that the inheritance of the minors is used for purposes other than their maintenance, and that monies they are entitled to are not paid into the guardian fund to ensure that they have access to such funds until they become majors. Over the past 13 years, we have fostered a good working relationship with the Office of the Chief Master and have provided legal representation in more than 33,000 deceased estates. Each year, we pay more than 40 million rands into the guardians funds for the minor beneficiaries. The Office of the Chief Master has always worked with us to ensure that the systemic blockages in deceased estates where children are involved are actually eliminated. There is a common understanding to prioritize child beneficiaries, and as a result, the teams are always willing to help us unblock issues when they arise. Welcome the online registration system, noting that it will make the process more effective, more efficient by eliminating manual submissions and introducing the ability to track the progress in matters online. Currently, we manually follow up with the Office of the Chief Master, which means that one of their team members must take time to assist us with these queries. Sometimes this person is not even in attendance. We must start the story afresh. And by tracking online, it will free up their team members to concentrate on the finalization of the estates. Clients will be able to register, report, and receive appointments regarding their estate matters in the comfort of their homes or offices without having to travel to and interact with the master's office in person. This is a sign of the times. We are living in an era of rapid technological progress, and in South Africa, we stand as a beacon of innovation on the entire African continent. Online services are now implemented in most government departments, and with this milestone, we will certainly improve service delivery with dedicated and collective efforts from all of us in the justice cluster. The online registration system will serve clients quickly and reduce queues. Legal South Africa is ready to assist to ensure that the deceased estates online registration system becomes a success. Children are a priority for our organization, and we look forward to working with this system. Practically, it means that a child who has lost a parent or both will have access to the funds that their parents left them more speedily, ensure that their needs are met. Trust that South Africans will embrace and adapt the new way of reporting deceased estates. Legal Aid South Africa express our thanks to the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development, Master's Office for this brilliant innovation. We value stakeholders' engagement and cooperation to jointly increase access, justice, and welcome the significant impact the deceased estate online registration system will have on ensuring access to justice for children in deceased estate matters. And I thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Makamedi, sorry. Yes, indeed, Legal Aid South Africa is assisting with the protection of the inheritance belonging to minor children. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, can I welcome to the stage Ms. Nolita Nkosi from SIBA. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to greet our ministers, our deputy ministers who are in the room, our colleagues from the Masters of the High Court, the DG, the DDG, the HODs, and everyone involved in this project. As Mr. Magamedi said, on behalf of the Chartered Institute of Business Accountants, my name is Nolita Nkosi, but I am the CEO today as I represent our CEO, Mr. Nicholas van Wyk. And our members, I would like to extend our robust endorsement for the launch of the Deceased Estate Online Registration System. SIBA not only champions the professional accountancy realm in South Africa, but also uphold the stringent standards and best practices that boost our national financial integrities. Now, as we all know, that accountants are the unsung pillars of our society, entrusted with the responsibility in ensuring transparency, accuracy, and accountability in financial matters. Their expertise goes beyond the mere membership crunching or number crunching. They provide insights that inform critical decisions, shape economic policies, and drive business strategy in the realm of estates. Now, I'm not sure how many of you, but I know that I've been in that situation where I had to queue in the master's court to get a letter of authority twice. And I believe that this online system will not only assist society, but also help our accountants in making sure that the funds are distributed accordingly. This new system signifies the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development commitment to embrace technology and revolutionizing public services. It is acknowledgement of the evolving needs of professionals, especially accountants, in managing estate affairs. Now we all know, I don't know if you guys have been there, but I've been there. It becomes a crucial time for families to come together. But these financial affairs, they break the families apart. And we hope with this system, it will bring families together. I thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Nkosi. It's much appreciated. At this juncture, I'm going to call upon our DDG for ICT, Mr. Jabu Hlachwayo, so that he can demonstrate to us how the system works. Thank you.
Good morning, colleagues. Mine is not of too many speeches. I'm just here to sort of give you a glimpse in terms of how the system works. You know, it would have been great if we had enough time to actually go through all the simulations of the videos in terms of taking you step by step in terms of how the system works, but that would have consumed too much time. And then we've tried to summarize the videos such that, you know, you guys can capture the essence in terms of the functionality of the system. So we have actually created about 3 videos. First of all, sorry, my colleagues, I need to acknowledge the minister, everybody who's here, the deputy minister. My sincere apologies. I'm more of a doer than anything, you know, and I'm trying to, you know, be skeptical of the time. Welcome, Minister. Welcome, DM. Welcome, my DG, all the stakeholders, the important stakeholders who are here. You know, I really acknowledge everybody who is here. You know, I cannot leave out the team who's really been putting their hands dirty in getting this thing working. You know, my solutions delivery team, IT related, you know, because we are in partnership with them. I think the lady also who's been, you know, heading the project from the master side, Advocate Kanyane, of course, Penny is also doing a great job in terms of, you know, emceeing this process. Colleagues, really, this is work in progress, I must say. It's not a perfect system. You know, for us right now, we're really happy that it's going to assist in improving the efficiencies of our processes, in reducing the time for our public members to actually, you know, finalize, you know, the deceased estates and getting those letters of authority and execution. So without wasting too much time, really, we've crafted 3 videos. They're a bit fast, but for you to have for those who haven't been to our site, you know, because otherwise, if we give details of those videos, which will be available on our portal, by the way, if you need the details. So I would like maybe the team to start assisting me in actually playing the first video. Can you pause a bit just for me to explain? This first one is more about your ability to register on the system online. Okay, so before you use the system, you have to register online as an ordinary user or as an entity, or an entity meaning an organization or a company, or as a service provider. A service provider is a legal entity. So this is just the video that is giving you a glimpse in terms of how this is done. We're trying to save time, but I hope you capture the essence of it. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, colleagues. So you must have seen on the screens, the grayed out parts are for, POPIA compliance, people's information. But what is key to notice in the system is that we try as much as we can to ensure that we apply the right security measures, the usage of the OTP, for individual. We also verify your email address, we verify your phone number. When it comes to the entity, the system does integrate with the CIPC so that they can verify the authenticity of that company with the CIPC database. So if your company doesn't exist in a CIPC database and you're trying to transact on behalf of a specific, so you won't be able to even register on behalf of that company. Same applies with the service provider. The service provider basically represents the legal entity or the legal person who's actually trying to assist the client to actually register that this is estate. So there's also a verification against the LPC. So basically, if you're not registered with the LPC and somehow you're trying to present yourself as some legal authority to try and assist the public, so it will reject it. So that was, I'm just trying to summarize what you've said. The next one is more about application for a deceased estate, meaning after you have registered, whether as an individual, whether as an entity, whether as a service provider, how do you therefore register the death? How do you actually register the applicant, the executor, the next of kin, and so forth? So there's a summarized version again. You can continue. Thank you. All right. Thank you, colleagues. You can observe that this one is a bit longer because I think it's about the essence of what you do with the system to actually register the estate. The ability to add the next of kins, the assets and liabilities of the estate, and the executor information and the supporting documents. So that ability is there. And of course, one thing I forgot to mention: this system is very much reliant on the Department of Home Affairs, the integration layer, with the National Population Register, because every next of kin, actually, when you from registration part, your registration won't be accepted until it's verified that your ID is valid or your passport number is valid through the Home Affairs. Same with the next of kins that you register here, there has to be a verification, and the documents, the completeness of the documents, and so forth. The last two videos are not going to be long. The third one is more about tracking the status of your registration, and then the ability to also make a booking, to actually then engage the master's office or collect your letter of authority. However, we'll get to it at a later stage. It has the ability also to send that letter of authority or executorship through email, and you can also download it on the portal itself. Quickly, the last two videos. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, with this one, I think maybe let me put it myself in the shoes of the public. I think this one is very important for our master's offices officials to really adhere to the appointment, because there's nothing that is really frustrating. I have experienced it with some of the departments. You make an appointment, you do it online. When you reach there, you don't adhere to time. So I think we need to be disciplined when it comes to that, because otherwise, this is not going to be really effective. The last one, really, it's very, very short. It's about the letter of authority or the letter of executorship. So you will see the QR code and so forth, and the verification. No, the fourth one. Please play that one. Thank you. Yeah, that was really the last part for me. That's really my job. Really, this one obviously you must have seen. It's the sample of this the letter of authority of executorship, the QR code. What is very important here, is for our financial institutions to always verify the authenticity of these letters. And it's just easy. You just do the QR code scan and it should take you to the website, the ICMS website. ICMS is the system that, we use that integrates with the system, So colleagues, this is very important. Of course, we'll always look at enhancing, the features of the system such that it's something that I thought about it now, to say, the cyber attackers, they are always quite looking for better methods of, so now in terms of verification, sometimes they would make spoofed website, that are mimicking, look like it's a departmental website. So please take note when you verify, take note of that URL, ensure that it is our website. But I think we're going to further put in more security features to ensure that one who's verifying can easily sort of verify that it is the actual website of the department. But it will show you, therefore, that the certificate, the letter is actually valid. But sometimes it happens that the letter has been there's been complaints. Let's say there's been complaints, and there has to be some rework done. So the estate controller would actually assess that complaint and, in a way, kind of revoke that letter, and they will change then we will change the status on the website to say it is not the latest letter that is issued. So when you are verifying, you need to ensure to check the status. If it's saying it's not the latest, it means it's invalid, then you cannot accept it. That is very important because, from time to time, as most of the speakers have alluded to this, there's so much fraud going on this, and you find many people wanting to be executors. And sometimes, they've been more creative such that, but we realize later that they were not supposed to be. We do revoke that. So this portal is accessible through the DOJ website. You can also, find the help and frequently asked question if you have any questions related to the solution. For now, I thank you. However, as the head of the ICT, from the DOJ, I think we all know that sometimes we are challenged in terms of, the performance of the system and so forth. It is my priority to ensure that we have the right digital infrastructure, to ensure that the network, that is being used, that is hosting the system, is fast enough to be able to, to serve the public and so forth. So we'll try and ensure that the system is always available, and we are engaging with the Department of Home Affairs to ensure that, the availability of the integration layer for verification is always there, because you don't want to be frustrated. Your application doesn't get accepted because, the integration layer is not available. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hlashwayo. Exciting, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Very exciting. There is a session for Q&A, but for the interest of time, can I please implore you, ladies and gentlemen, that I actually skip that item. However, we've got an email address where you can address your questions. I'm going to read it out to you. It's DOJDE onlinesupport.gov.za. Going to repeat it. DOJDE online support, one word, at justice.gov.za. You got it? Okay, let me repeat it for the third time. DOJDE online support, one word, at justice.gov.za. So on this note, I'm going to call upon our DG to introduce our Honorable Minister for his key note address. Thank you.
Jabu, to Minister, that email address need display on the screen. We were launching an online service and we're still dictating to people to so let's just put it on the screen. Okay. What we can do when we're done and the DM has spoken and closed, then maybe we can take 15 minutes just to deal with the questions, just because Minister, DM, and myself have an engagement that we'll have to go to. But ladies and gentlemen, I just have a quick duty here to introduce the Minister for Justice and Correctional Services. I was just remembering in 2019, June, when the Minister started part of his first speech in Parliament, he went to town about modernization of the justice services. And if you look at our 5-year strategic plan, the modernization of the justice system, permeates the entire strategic plan. I think at the time, we didn't know the realities on the ground. So Minister, it has taken us this long 4.5 years. This is really the first major project that we can say of all the 14 commitments that we had made that will have court online, maintenance, child maintenance online, deceased estates online, trust online, wills online, all of that. This is how long it has taken. Unfortunately, that's bureaucracy with all many other, glitches along the way. But it's good that still within this administration, under your leadership with the Deputy Minister, you are still able to see this being launched today. There will still be challenges as we roll it out, but we hope that before the end of the financial year, others can come in as well and the system will get improved. Ladies and gentlemen, the Minister for Justice and Correctional Services doesn't require any introduction. He has been a minister since 2019, as I've already mentioned, responsible for a very big portfolio. I think he's one of the few ministers in the cabinet who are carrying a very huge responsibility, starting from prosecution, the justice system itself, and later in the value chain of the criminal justice system, the correctional services responsibility. So the minister really, throughout his tenure, he has been clear about the need for the digital transformation and the modernization of the justice services. It has taken this long, but here we have started. Minister, people gathered here. We have stakeholders from the private sector, the banking system, the chartered accountant profession, the legal profession, and many other, colleagues from the private sector as well as civil society. And they have been part of this journey with us, and they support it. And we have finally come to this point. I have the honor, Minister, to invite you to address the gathering. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Director General of the Department of Constitutional Development, Advocate Mashabane, for the introduction, the DM for the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development, Mr. John Jeffrey, Ms. Aneza Razak, the Chief Executive Officer of First National Bank, dealing with what we are here for today, fiduciary and offshore, and your collective, Mr. Pete Nell, Sika, Ungigunene, Basa, Mr. Luz van Vieren, the Fiduciary Institute of South Africa, Ulenkete, LPC, Nelita Nkosi, CIPH, SIBA, and the current acting chief master, Advocate Penelope Roberts, and all the stakeholders who are here today, Black Lawyers Association, Nadel, Saula, seeing the president of Saula here, and many other stakeholders that I might not have seen, who are present in this exciting gathering of the DOJ. We are very pleased to be here today launching this product, which we believe will go a long way for access to services, the justice master services across the country. I'm more excited myself because on a day-to-day basis, I receive WhatsApps, SMSs, email from members of the public complaining about this or the other, about their access to the master service. And the ones in Toyando, they feel Toyando is west. The ones in Cape Town, they say, no, Cape Town is west than Toyando. The ones in Johannesburg, they say, no, Johannesburg is west than Pietermaritzburg. So I believe this system will be a catalyst to changing this environment, modernize it, digitize it, and make it accessible to the members of the public, but also to all the professional bodies which are playing in the space of the master services. I am also very much grateful for the role played by First National Bank in helping us to transform, build this system, and work with us in the DOJ in terms of the building of the system and the product itself. And we say this is a very good example of what the president always says, that the compact between the private sector and government can help solve our social and government problems. It is against this background that we always say government alone can't solve the problems of this country. It is not beneficiary for the private sector to have the systems that you do have, state of the art, and government does not have, is still in the Stone Ages. So if we're also at the same level with you, the same level of the Industrial Revolution, the systems will be able to connect, interact, and provide services to the public. You will make more money, we will provide the service. That's the reality. But I was saying to the DG, we must also make money in government, because I believe this services provided by the master can be self-sustainable. One of the challenges why government has struggled to modernize the services in the master's office is because of the cost of some of the services that we have to provide. If you do IT in the private sector, or for personal use, or any other way, the cost just becomes startlingly different. And sometimes we feel we don't get value for our money, for the IT services we get from the service providers that we contract. But we are happy that the department is now beginning to build its own internal capacity, which will enable the department to monitor the services we receive from the private sector, and also the partnerships that we inculcate, like the one we have now with FNB, with the master service. So we also want to thank the other stakeholders that have played a role to allow their systems, their professional structures like the LPC, and all the other stakeholders that are participating to ensure that the system becomes a success. The requirements stated in the Administration of Estates Act 66 of 1965 have to continue to evolve to accommodate these changing global environment, including the modernization of these processes. We are also aware of the challenges that you as stakeholders have also suffered, not only in terms of accessing our services, but also in terms of the manipulators of the system, fraudulent letters of authority and so forth. So I think from what Jabu has outlined, already the risks have been mitigated, and we believe that if we all follow those systems, we'll be able to guard against further fraudulent activities by unscrupulous players out there. And we hope that the LPC will play its role for the unscrupulous attorneys who also sometimes take their chances. And also hopefully the accounting profession will do the same with the accountants who also sometimes take their chances and take advantage of the unsuspecting members of the public in terms of the systems that they provide. As the DG has said, it has been a long journey for the department to reach this milestone. But we are very excited that we have reached it. And there is a foundation that has been laid in terms of digitizing and modernizing the entire justice system. So what you see today is part of our vision, not only for the Master's Office, in terms of online, but also in terms of online maintenance, in terms of liquidations, in terms of all the services that the Masters provide, but also with the courts, the online platforms. You have already seen Court Online, Case Online, and the various platforms that the department is trying to infuse to modernize the entire administration of the justice system. It's a journey we believe will only succeed with your support, and we work together. I know with the Court Online and the case lines, it's not been easy because attorneys are paper heavy and the lawyers, they always prefer to have their briefcase. But the reality of the modern world demands that we need to change this type of mindset so that we can be able to enable members of the public to have access to a modernized system, which we are working on. And hopefully with yourself, we will be able to achieve it. I'm also glad, Jabu, that there is a QR code that will enable people to verify whether the letter of authority is in line or it's a legitimate one or authentic or even fraudulent one. That is a very good innovation which will enable verification by any role player in the space and in the system. We are also, as a department, enjoyed by the Constitution and also by the B laws of this country to transform the executorship space to reflect the demographics of our country. We also want to see Black players playing a role, either in the legal profession, in the accounting profession, or whatever profession interacts with the office of the master. Same with liquidations. Same with liquidations and other services that we provide. They must reflect the demographics of our country. Black players, Indians, white, everyone must play a role. There must be no systematic exclusion of any race in this process that we are embarking upon. As we continue to transform this profession and also other relevant professions in our country, we must not entrench the past. We must be able to move forward so that our country can be a reflective of the real diversity that we have. And everyone must feel that they can be part of the mainstream of the economy. So we want to see young Black women coming into the space, playing a role in the administration of estates. It's a reality of our country that the majority of those coming to the master's office are widowed Black South Africans. So they must also be serviced by young Black women playing a role in this space. So those of you who have been in this space all along, we are not chasing you away. We are saying allow its diversification so that everyone can play a role, everyone can also participate. All of us can share in this cake. It's a very big cake. So it must be shared by everyone and for the benefit of our country. With this, we also want to congratulate our master's colleagues and also ICT in the Department of Justice for this innovative work that you have done, and all the stakeholders that have played a role to make this a reality. That this is just the beginning. It is just a start. The journey still has got 1,000 miles to achieve the other objectives in terms of modernization. I know with systems like this, may crash tomorrow morning, but don't get tired. Stand up, redo it. There will be complaints. that will arise because you have now shifted from what people are used to, which is the reality of any new system that comes into the space. But with trial and error, we are going to master the system. I believe in a year's time, South Africans will now believe that this is the way to go. And that will also happen with the other modernization projects that we are involved in. We will never be tired with the challenges that we have, the technical glitches and all those that do happen. But as they do arise, we must be able to fix them. We must be able to offer solutions so that the system can withstand those challenges, the glitches, and be able to work for the benefit of the people of South Africa. Because at the end of the day, it's about access to justice. That is what we must provide. And thank you very much, and congratulations for this auspicious occasion. Thank you.
I have to adjust my mic again. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for that keynote address. Yes, there will be glitches along the way, but yeah, we'll soldier on and we'll get there. On this note, I'm going to allow our Deputy Minister, Honorable Mr. John Jeffrey, to the stage for his closing remarks. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Acting Chief Master, and good morning, everybody. Thanks for attending in such large numbers. I think we all know, and some people have said, that obviously death is a difficult time. And so apart from the trauma and grief people have when a loved one passes away, there's all the other difficulties of the bank accounts being frozen, the immovable property registered in the deceased's name, and so forth. So until such time as the executor has been appointed, the loved ones, the dependents, and the beneficiaries really are in limbo. And it's important that letters of executorship and letters of authority are issued as soon as possible, that people dealing with their grief don't have to stand in long queues waiting to apply for these documents. As the Minister has said, we are inundated with complaints from members of the public, practitioners, and so on. But we are confident that this new deceased estates online registration system will be a game changer when it comes to accessing master's services. I got a rather disappointed WhatsApp message from somebody I was at varsity with from Kala, and they weren't writing on behalf of the Minister of Minerals and Energy, but complaining that why is this only being done for, I think it's Joburg, Cape Town, Durban. But I'm told by the Acting Chief Master that by January 2024, all master's offices will be covered. I mean, obviously, if you're online, you can go online anywhere, but it's just if you are opening up a estate in Durban or in Thohoyandou, that office needs to be connected. But by January, the Acting Chief Master tells me everyone will be connected. The new system will enable clients to transact master services remotely from anywhere and at any time without the need to visit master's offices, thus reducing queues and travel costs for members of the public. And it's part of our department's modernization program to provide efficient and convenient services to clients. Incidentally, in spite of all the complaints, the master's performance in terms of the key performance indicators hasn't been too bad. Those of you that complain, you may not believe it, but when it comes to Q2, the target for the percentage of liquidation and distribution accounts and deceased estates where letters of executorship have been issued and examined within 21 days from receipt of all the required documents, the target was 80%. The Master's Office managed 77.99%. So there were 5,979 accounts examined, of which 4,663 were within the 21-day period. But we are confident that the new online system and every effort made in respect of modernizing the system will help the master to achieve and even exceed on these targets going forward. And I'm pleased that regarding the percentage of letters of appointment issued in deceased estates within 21 days of receipt of all the documents, that they achieved 85% against a target of 70%. So they went over their target. But there will also be self-service and staff-assisted kiosks in the master's offices to help clients report states online easily. So if you are not able to access the internet, you can still go to the master's office and you can then get helped at a kiosk to basically register online. The Office of the Chief Masters collaborated with stakeholders to conduct comprehensive testing of the system's functionality and ease of use to ensure that the system is user-friendly and efficient. And as I think has been said, there will always be glitches. And it doesn't seem to matter whether it's private sector or government. With IT systems, there are glitches. I signed up for a program, I won't say where, one of the gyms was offering this online program where you scan a QR code every time you go in. But I mean, half of it's not working. And that's a private sector established gym. And I can't seem to find anyone to help me out to ensure that all my points get accumulated. So I'm just saying that's an example. But we're hopeful that the new deceased estates online registration system will have a positive impact on all the identified challenges and will benefit the entire master's office as a whole. It's expected to revolutionize master's services by providing a convenient and efficient way for clients to transact with the master's offices remotely. So hopefully there will be a substantial change in service delivery. There may be glitches, but we are moving forward and this should really transform things. So thank you very much for those of you that have participated in the development of the program, those of you who've attended to hear what is happening, and we hope that this program is a real game changer. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Deputy Minister. Yes, we are hoping that this will indeed be a game changer for all of us. Yeah, on this note, we have actually closed the program. The thing is, I promised DG that as the program director, I'll be on time because he said to me, pay me from 9 until 11. You know, we should be done because we appreciate the stakeholders being here. We know that time is money as well. So we do understand that. So yeah, I don't know if there are burning questions from the floor after Mr. Jabu Hlatswayo's presentation on the system. Any show of hands? Oh, okay, but you still have that email address, ladies and gentlemen, that you can forward your questions to DOJDE online support at justice.gov.za. Oh, there's one question. Yes, say, I don't know. Oh, yeah, there are roving mics. Thank you. If you can also please introduce yourself. I think you can go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Program Director. My name is Madia from SARS Engineering. Firstly, I just want to congratulate the team, the great system and good service to South Africans, and Kanyani and team. I've got 3 questions quickly, DDG and Kanyani, if you don't mind. I noticed the system, the video was a bit fast,
but maybe I might have missed some of the question that I'm going to ask. Firstly, from registration point of view, people don't forget password. I didn't see the illustration of password retrieval. And if we do have password retrieval, I just want to find out if we do have an ability to also change your security details, because I saw that you've got an OTP that you send to a probably cell phone or email. We have ability to do security details update on the system. The last question. I see that the system also allow us to have the letter of executorship on the system itself where we can download. So is there plans to have interface with SARS for this particular letter?
Okay, I think maybe we should take three at a time. Since he asked three, we'll start with these three. Yeah, the first one is about the password renewal, password refresh, in case somebody has forgotten the password. Yes, it does have that ability. Like I said, these are just summarized slides. You know, we didn't show all the functionality. You know, we're focusing on the key functionalities. So when you have forgotten your password, you can click, you've forgotten your password, it would ask you if you want to sort of renew your password using the phone or your email address if you've registered with an email address. And again, the OTP part will always feature, just like if you've forgotten your banking login password and so forth. In terms of the security details, again, you have the ability to actually modify your profile, you know, and then enhance your security details like verification methods and so forth. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll ask Advocate Kanyana to answer the last one in terms of integration with SARS.
Morning, Badia. These were my colleagues at SARS for 13 years. So, yeah, let me answer that. We are going to integrate with SARS. We know that there are, before we can actually issue a distribution notice on an account, we have to make sure that the tax liability has been cleared on the estate. So that integration, as we discussed, I think a month ago, we spoke about us giving you access to any letter of authority that has been issued in terms of the Act. You would get that information. So we will be giving you that information for all appointments that are made on estate. But as you would know, you have a time period within which to object, and after which then, without any objection from SARS, we would then issue a notice of distribution. So there will be future integration via API, but I'm not an IT expert, so I'll say there will be integration. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, one of our challenges as well from the master side is that deceased estates don't get wound up. So we are hoping that, you know, with this integration, we'll have so many estates finalized. Are there any other questions? Yes, you may.
Thank you. My name is Reverend Hololo, a layperson and civil society. I'm lay in IT and also in legal matters, but I'm representing the widows. So I just want to find out this simple question. How do you verify? Is it a first come, first serve in getting, like a woman that still needs to go for customary marriage certificate and the in-laws that grabs assets? How do you deal with that in registration? Thanks.
Can take all the questions. I see there's a hand there at the back. Actually, there are two hands there. I've recognized the two ladies. If they're rolling mics, can go there. I think we can take 5 questions. Both Advocate Ganyani and Mr. Shashwayo can then respond. Yes, you can go ahead. Thank you.
Good morning. Just want to find out is, will the system be cloud-based or server-based? And also, who will manage the system? Will it be managed by CETA?
Thank you. There's another hand there at the back.
Thank you. This is Maputi from Kotolo Attorneys. I just have one question. I want to know if one is already successfully registered and authenticated, and along the line they get, say for example, removed from office or are suspended. How often does the verification open, or to what extent, what is the risk mitigation that is in place to guard against such continuation of service while now the person is no longer legally authorized to render the service? Thank you.
Is there another hand? Okay. I think, yeah, the panel can take the 3 questions. Thank you.
On the first question, in terms of widows, we are going to do an outreach for multiple projects. One of them is for widows, and the other one is deceased ex-mine workers' widows that Dr. Waters, who is here from the compensation fund, has partnered with us on. But in terms of what we are talking about, there are requirements from the Master's Office that must be met for us to appoint someone as an executor. In terms of customary marriages, so there are requirements that the customary marriage that can still be registered posthumously, and that would be done by the Department of Home Affairs. However, that does not mean that we would turn the person away. Anything purporting to be a Lamola letter that can then be a commission and the family agrees, the master would apply discretion in that regard and would recognize that marriage. But we encourage that the Department of Home Affairs, then you engage the Department of Home Affairs, and all the issues then get resolved before approaching the master. On that matter, where there is complexity, you will see that on the system, you would be asked to make an appointment to come into the master's office at a specific time, at a time of your choosing, such that we can discuss the matter and provide guidance where there is a need for guidance. So we will still assist you, and you can then make an appointment to come into the master's office. On the last question, how do you authenticate that somebody is still fit and proper or is still legally authorized to act on behalf of the client? What we're doing for entities as well as service providers, entities being companies and service providers being your legal practices, we are actually handing the administration of the system job to the entity. So you are able to select administrators for your entity, administrators for your law firm that would then act on the system in nominating people that will act on behalf of individuals. It is the onus rests with you to remove people that are no longer fit or are no longer authorized to act on that estate. It will not be the master's job. You will see on the system as you register a profile, it would ask for an administrator of the firm or the entity that would then be giving access to people, to your employees on the system. So we will not be managing that. It will be managed by yourselves, and it will then be your duty to remove people. But if the question was about the fit and properness in terms of the LPA, then we actually validate legal professionals against the database of the LPC and to check if they are indeed admitted, and if not, then they would not proceed with any application. Thank you.
Yeah, in relation to the second question, it's quite an interesting question because from my side, firstly, let me do a disclaimer. I joined the Department of Justice in June. So maybe the simple answer to your question is hybrid. So there's an ICMS part of the system, which is more based on, on-site server infrastructure. And then the application server part of the system, I would say it's more based on private cloud. However, within the government space, cloud, it's still a paradigm shift, which is something, to be honest to you, it's a bit of a frustration for me. And I'm working with my colleagues to really understand the importance of clouds when it comes to the digital transformation. Especially, of course, the government policy is private cloud right now, okay? And where you source those cloud services, your first point is SITA. However, in our environment, we have our own data center. We have recently invested on infrastructure. It's supposedly an infrastructure as a service. However, I need us to move into a more platform as a service base. So for now, I could say it's hybrid on the basis that the ICMS is hosted on the old server infrastructure that we have, and the actual application solution is hosted on our new infrastructure as a service cloud platform. Now, in terms of SITA management, so SITA is responsible for the management of the ICMS part, integrated case management system. And we've got it's a collaboration approach. The developers who are involved is IT related, and our IT solutions delivery chief directorate. So I would say it's sort of a joint management approach for now. I hope I've answered your question. Thank you.
So much. Last call for questions. I think, yeah, okay. There's a lady there. I recognize you as well.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Tabiseng from Legal Aid. So basically, I've been doing estates for quite a number of years. And what I've found is that when the person or the next of kin of the deceased registers the estate, if, for instance, a male person has died, because when he was explaining the system, he said that, so basically the individual would register themselves, then once their registration is done, they would then move on to register the actual estate, right? So my question is, in an instant where you have a father who has fathered 5 kids, but he did not take part in the birth registration process at Home Affairs, and so how will then the system assist to make sure that the beneficiaries of that male person who has passed away, who did not confirm the paternity of those kids, that the person who's registering has registered all of them correctly? Will this, because currently the system would allow the closest family member to write an affidavit to confirm that my late brother had 5 kids. So now if the person, Home Affairs cannot confirm the number of kids, how will this system basically create an authenticity to authenticate the number of kids of the deceased if Home Affairs can't confirm?
Thank you. There's another question. Sorry.
Thank you. I'm Anna from Noah Sazi Shabang Attorneys. So yeah, I wanted to ask a question that's similar to what the lady there just asked, because in the current system, Master Claudio Register, you were able to sometimes, even if it's a female person, maybe children, ababalapa go 2000 and something, but ababango 90 something, sometimes bebengaveli. So just to reiterate what she just asked about, how is the system going to verify that all the children have been included. And also, the question, Yobana, say for example, the system has successfully registered and issued the letters of executorship, and then with another firm, right? And then the client somehow decides to terminate that firm and decides to move to maybe my firm. How then are we supposed to administer the termination and then continue with currently as the firm? Are we going to have to go to the master's office? Are we going to have to do it online? What are we going to do? How is the system accommodating that? And yeah, that's all. Okay. Thank you.
On the number of children, on the first one, the nominations, we rely even under the current process on the honesty of the person that is registering or reporting their state. If children are not registered on the DHA system, there is no way of the masters knowing that there are any kids registered under the deceased. That is the current situation. The system would not, if they're not in Home Affairs, the system would not find them. However, the nominations are still a key part of that process. Just like currently, where later on we find out that there are other kids, we withdraw that letter of authority or executorship. But in this instance, it becomes easier because we are able to immediately withdraw it. The past process is we had to ask the appointed executor to return the letter, and in most cases they would never return that letter to us. And by the time that we actually get to finally get hold of the letter, they've dissipated all the assets of the deceased at the exclusion of other children. So that remains an issue. However, the minute there is an objection or there is another claim, we are able to quickly act, which is opposed to the previous process where we had to wait for somebody to return the letter. On the second question, I just want to clarify that I got that you had the same question, which is now answered. The other question, sorry if I may get that question, it was regarding. Oh, as a client, you're now switching, you've now terminated the mandate of a firm and you've moved on. You simply let us know. You simply let us know and we terminate. Whether you book an appointment or into the master's office or you submit an amendment request, you just simply let us know and we terminate that, the appointment. It's as easy as that. Thank you.
Just wanted to find it. Are you satisfied? Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, last round now.
Sorry,
once, twice.
Hello? Sorry.
Hello. Sorry.
I just want to find out if you can address the issue with the Veritas files, the current situation of the Veritas files, and then also the integration thereof with the system.
Okay, in terms of Veritas, they're responsible for digitizing our the master's records. So what is happening is that when they digitize, they scan them and they make them to be available on the portal. So the plan is to ensure that the system can actually integrate with their database or through the application of Veritas, so that if there are documents that have to be used in terms of the verification of whatever applications, then they can be sourced from that database or portal for verification. Right now, we're having discussions with Veritas to try and get a seamless way of being able to search for whatever document that is required that they have already scanned.
Yes, we are engaging with Veritas, the offsite storage service provider who are storing our files. So it's a continuous engagement in that regard in order to retrieve the files that are needed most urgently on our side as well. And see also how the scanning capability can be matched on the deceased estate online. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not our intention to keep you the whole day here with us. We enjoy your company and we thank you very much for honoring our request to attend to this very important launch of the Deceased Online project, and we really appreciate your support. On that note, I'm going to close the proceedings. May you travel safely and enjoy the rest of the day further. There is coffee served on the side. Thank you so much. You've been wonderful, by the way. Thank you.
Sometimes alone in the evening, I look outside.